310864. Station's your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Oregon football.
Our connection, our toughness, our growing through moments, our DNA traits showed up at the end.
10, 5, for Nix. Give me 6. Pressure. Boom. Dorless got to him again.
I just know how hard our guys work, and you love when they work hard, they get rewarded.
To the 10, 5, 6. Bucky Irving. Can he get 3 on his feet? He does. Franklin scores. Ferguson turns and gets into the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon. Touchdown, Ducks.
It was exciting for me to see our guys go out there and execute. I'm proud of them. I love them. So really grateful for that moment.
This is the Oregon Football Coaches Show on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Today's broadcast is also brought to you by Country Financial Insurance, protect what matters, and by Pepsi and Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks! Drink Pepsi. Now let's go to the Country Financial Studios and talk Oregon Duck football.
Yeah, let's talk some football. It has been way too long since we get to say touchdown Ducks, and I like to do it about 100,000 times this year. And the guy that probably would approve that is joining us to open the show, head coach Dan Lanning. Great to be here again with you. The season has finally arrived.
We're back.
We're back.
It's good to be back. I'm excited.
We've got a football game ahead of us. We're going to talk about that and your team and all of that. But we were just talking a moment ago about your time off. You got like 3 days in a row off this summer? Is that
Yeah,
it?
we got a couple days there. We got to spend a lot of quality time with the family, which is always fun.
That's cool. Now, I guess I got to ask you one of the first questions. Year 2 coming up. Year 2. How is Dan Lanning different going into this week's game than he was last year?
Yeah, somebody asked me that the other day. I think just the biggest thing is the unexpected that you really can't prepare for year 1. You can prepare for in year 2. There aren't as many unexpected moments, and there's a lot of continuity within our staff and our program that's really carrying over going into this season.
How about practice, year 1 to year 2? I mean, what changes have you made? Do you feel like you've made that have made a difference so far?
Yeah, just a lot of situational stuff that we've been able to work, this second time around that we knew we needed to be prepared for going into year 2. I think that a lot of that's shown up. And, again, just the continuity of coaching staff and of players, I think that's led to, some more success this offseason.
You did have a lot of guys come back, but you added a whole lot of new faces out there on the field. How different is it now coaching with so many new faces than it was like 5 or 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's a little bit of the culture of college football right now, that there's going to be new guys in your program every single year, and it's your job as a coach to get them prepared and propel them to success on the field. But, we have a good culture that's been established where those guys are able to really figure it out quick.
You got a lot of freshmen that join early in the spring, so they're able to get a little bit of taste of the playbook and what to expect. But what about the guys that come in over the summer and in the fall? Do you immerse them in the playbook, or do you bring them along slowly? How does that work?
Probably a combination of both, right? We really kind of put the kitchen sink in these guys and throw it all at them, early, and then figure out what they've retained, and then go back and cycle back through it again. And we don't try to put too much on a guy, but we'll put as much as they can handle. And sometimes that means giving them everything first to figure out what they can handle.
You don't get to be with them from the time that bowl game finishes until you get fall practice beginning. There's a lot of time when you can. You get some spring drills in there. But your leadership from the guys on that team are so critical. How important is – and what do they do as far as carrying your team through when coaches aren't around?
Well, we get to be around a good amount, and that's one thing that's great about the way it's set up. But they spend a lot of time with, the strength staff. They spend a lot of time while we're on the road as coaches recruiting with each other. And I think that's where, leadership really is developed, right? And you hear it out there on the practice field now. When you go by a drill and you hear players holding other guys accountable. When you just go over by our offensive line group and you hear them making coaching points to each other. I think a lot of those things carry over, and that's really developed in the offseason. It's not developed right now in fall camp.
And summertime obviously is part of the off season, and those leaders emerge as you know in that process. How do you feel like that off season went for you in the summertime?
I think we had a great off season. We had some guys that got stronger, bigger, obviously in the weight room, faster, but also just from that leadership development standpoint, you hear some guys kind of step up and realize that they have an opportunity to create a role for themselves on this team.
Is leadership, I mean, I know you can teach guys how to tackle, how to do a lot of the things that we see in a football game, but can you coach leadership? Is that something you teach, or does the guy have to have that inside of him?
Absolutely, you can coach it. Now, certainly there's people that are more natural leaders than others, but just pointing it out, identifying it, and then showing it what it, players what it really looks like, I think that's something that our guys yearn for.
Were there any unanswered questions that you came out of spring with that you feel like have been answered in the fall, or is it too early to tell on that?
Probably a little too early to tell. I think we've shored some things up coming out of the spring, and not gaining a lot of our roster in the summer. You want to see what some of those guys can do early, and that's something we've been able to identify in fall camp. But you don't know until the bullets start to fly, and that's going to happen obviously this Saturday.
Is there a point in fall camp when you or coaches get together and say, okay, we've done all we can do so far, we need to play somebody else to see where we are?
I never get to that point. I always feel like there's an opportunity for us to improve, going all the way up into game time. So we like to say, in our program, the hay's never really in the barn, right? We're going to prepare all the way up to that game moment, and then as soon as the game's over with, we're going to start preparing for the next opponent.
You got new coaches, obviously, they've gone through a spring, but not a fall. So how's that gone for them in that process? I mean, being here like Will Stein was and some others, it helps to bond yourself a little bit with that group, whatever your group is. But then when you get in the fall, it's a little bit different sometimes. And how's it been for those guys this fall?
Yeah, we've been able to add some tremendous coaches to our staff. Obviously Coach Stein, like you mentioned, Coach Terry, Coach Hampton. Yeah. All those guys have transitioned really, really, really well. But we're just like myself, we're learning every single day and how we can operate better and cleaner as a staff and as coaches. So those guys have that same growth mindset you always hear me talk about. They have that same mindset in their approach every day.
Okay, we're going to break things up a little bit. We're going to take a break right now, but come back and get a little more into the team and maybe some personnel and some of the things that we're expecting to see or hoping to see as we get ready for Portland State. Game number 1 coming up. It's Saturday. It's here. It's game week. It's like you just feel it in the air. This show brought to you by Toyota, the Coaches Show. And we're back. We'll continue on with head coach Dan Lanning right after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More gridiron action in 1 minute.
Gonna throw. Oh, what a play over the middle. Touchdown, Oregon.
Coming your way on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Welcome back inside our Toyota Coaches Show. I'm Jerry Allen. It's brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And head coach Dan Lanning is here to answer all of our questions. The one we didn't ask that a lot of people are asking head coaches across the nation, are you ready to name a quarterback yet?
Yeah. Bo Nix.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Easy. I mean, how special of a moment was it for you? And I think you've answered this question probably 6 or 7 months ago, but when you found out he was going to come back and be your guy.
Oh, just extremely excited. I think Bo saw the opportunities that sat in front of him here at Oregon and felt a small taste of there's some more out there for me to still finish. You know, he had some unfinished business that he wanted to accomplish, and certainly he makes our team special. He's a special player, so really excited about having him back.
Yeah.
So it probably gets asked 100 times to you. Bo 2022, Bo 2023. How have you seen him grow?
Yeah, people don't realize how much of a coach on the field and off the field that Bo is, right? He sees the game from a different perspective, and I think he sees some moments for himself where, hey, I can really take this to another level. And, you know, if he plays within the framework of what we have set up offensively, I think Bo could have a really, really special year this year.
A lot of people a lot of young players will look at Bo Nix and see his numbers from last year and what he did and how well he played and hear that he wants to get better. And you say, wait a minute, how do you focus on getting better when you're already that good? How do you coach that?
Well, what great player doesn't want to be better, right? Even in their greatest moments, what great player doesn't want to get better? And I think Bo does a great job of staying centered and knowing that, he can play better. And I'm excited to see him try to do that this year.
Had a tremendous season last year. He did. But the pieces were there that really functioned with him too. An offensive line that had great chemistry and experienced skill guys that were big-time skill guys. So let's move to this year. You've got a very talented offensive line. Chemistry's a big part of that, though, isn't it? In protecting the quarterback and getting downs in real games in.
That's right. And we've got all the pieces for a really great dish, right? You got the recipe for a great dish, but you got to go cook it still, and it's got to come together. And I think Bo sees that. Our whole team sees that we have great talent. It's about creating that chemistry to go be successful on the field.
The relationship that Bo had with that offensive line last year, I mean, so many times we talk about how great the line was and what they did, and then pretty soon we're talking about Bo making the offensive line look good because of what he did. You have a bunch of new guys in there, but you do have a number of offensive linemen, it appears, who actually had some significant time last year. So you've got some experience coming back.
Yeah, we've got a good, really piece of both, right? We've got some guys with great experience returning. We have some guys that are younger guys that are developing quick. And then we have guys that maybe had experience, but it wasn't necessarily experience here at Oregon, maybe experience in another place. So excited to see that all come together. Our offensive line unit's it's a group that a lot of people have had questions about, but I've been really pleased with their preparation and their hunger to get better this offseason.
The ability of guys to play different positions too. I mean, what a great advantage that is for you and in your offense to be able to plug guys in at different spots, guard, tackle, sometimes center. Talk about the advantages of that and why it's so important.
Yeah, when you can be your best team is when you can have your best 11 play, and that might mean that if a guy drops at one position, that somebody has to move to another position for you to have your best 11 on the field. For us, we've always felt like the more players we can play, the more success we'll have. So I feel like we have a really cohesive offensive line unit, speaking about the offensive line specifically, but we have a unit that can play multiple positions, which is really important in college football.
Your skill position group is unbelievable this year. Deeper at wide receiver than I can remember in a while, and at running backs, wow. I mean, you're returning over almost all of your rushing yardage from last year between your two backs and your quarterback. Talk about those wide receivers. You got a good rotation of like 2, 3, 6, 8 guys.
Yeah, time will tell, right? I think we have some guys in that room that have proven themselves, and then we have some guys in there that are anxious to prove themselves. So I like our talent that we have in that room. We have a lot of guys that can play multiple positions, so we'll see how it all comes together. But there's certainly talent, and our backs, I think, have proven themselves. They're really have done a great job, and we've gotten better even at the younger positions at that spot. So seeing some of those guys come on that maybe people aren't is ready to see, but a Jordan James, some guys like that can come on and have some success this year will be really special for us.
Depth. It looks like your offense has got depth, especially in the receiver group and the running back room.
Absolutely, yeah.
Explosive plays last year. Offense had a lot of them. Didn't turn the ball over, and actually took it away decently too. All those ingredients is a big part of the success, particularly in offense. Don't give it away, make explosive plays.
Yeah, it's huge, and especially huge in week 1 of the season and the last week of the season, right? I think that's where you're going to see the most explosives and the most takeaways happen every year. So we have to do a great job taking the ball, especially early in the season, to help create some of that continuity.
You know, I was looking statistically, 3 fumbles last year, which is really, I mean, that's low. That is really low. The job.
It's 3 too many.
Yeah, it's 3 too many for you. That's right.
There
yeah.
you go.
But the job that Coach Laughlin does in relation to drilling those guys and the ball security piece of it, that all comes from that piece of it too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a big part of it, right? And you just have to practice it every day in practice. You know, we talk about ball in jeopardy plays that we point out. Not every time is it actually a ball that gets taken away, right? But a ball in jeopardy play is something I try to identify on film and point out to our guys, and we spend a lot of time coaching it.
Okay, we talked about the offense a little bit. We got to get the defense in here. Also going to come back and talk about Portland State a little bit, your first opponent. Toyota Coaches Show brought to you by Toyota. We're going to come right back. We'll get right back into more on the defensive side when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck, and that's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially with great rates, lower fees, nationwide ATM access, and mobile banking. Earn more interest with remarkable checking, and show your duck devotion with a duck debit card. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit. Insured by NCUA.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
There's more Duck football around the corner.
Got him deep. He's open. He's got it. He's gone. 10-5. Touchdown, Oregon.
60 seconds away on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the studio, our Toyota Coaches Show. Jerry, Jorgie, and head coach Dan Lanning, and our coaches interview brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. I know you like the Bigfoot guys.
I do. I had a Pepsi earlier today. Drink your Pepsi.
Okay, you're gonna. I just want to do that right after the show.
Right on cue.
Get the sponsor. All right, we're gonna go right to the defense, and the first one is about tackling.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously tackling is such a huge key to success of defenses all the time, and we were talking about it off the air about pro football, and they're only padded up pretty much one day a week to be able to do any type of tackling. So how do you go about the process when you are not in full pads every day to make sure that the tackling is still sharp and effective and what it needs to be to be a successful defense?
I think it starts in recruiting, right? If you're not going to bite as a pup, you're not going to bite as a dog. You got to be able to you got to go recruit guys that are going to be great tacklers. That being said, you got to train it every single day, and you have to work it every single day. And even if you're not in pads, there's ways you can still work tracking. There's ways you can still work a perfect fit. But yeah, tackling something you have to practice. And we thud a lot. We're not going to take guys to the ground. We want to be safe. But you got to practice putting contact, right? You got to have contact in practice to be able to be successful as a tackling team. I think we're a much better tackling team this year.
And so for fans that don't understand thud, what that means. Just
yeah,
explain
you hit them high and hard, but don't take them to the ground, right? Injuries happen when guys go to the ground. We want to practice putting a high thud on people and finish them with a good wrap.
Your expertise, defense. I mean, you're head coach now, so I watch you coach, and you seem to see. You talk about Bo having a great vision. Your vision of the field during practice is pretty amazing, Coach. I mean, you seem to see everything. We talked about the defense a moment ago. You talked about depth. You asked me what I thought. I thought the defense is improved markedly. Depth may be a key part of that. Explain that.
Yeah, I think it starts just across the board. When you have more guys that can play at a high level, you're going to have guys that are fresh on the field and have more success. And, we showed some statistics to some of our players the other day about how all pro players in the NFL, they actually don't play the entire game, right? They play a marked amount of snaps to where they're able to perform at a high level when they are on the field. So it starts with having more players that can play at a championship level on your team. And then when you tackle better, you're going to play better on defense, right? We've got to be able to make plays on the ball. A great place to improve pass defense is to have a pass rush, right? So we hope to create that with some of the guys that we brought in. We also have some great talent, across the board, and it takes speed too, to play with the teams that we're going to play this year. You got to be able to run to the ball, and you got to be able to make sure you're not run past.
Biggest area of growth for your defense this fall has
to be tackling for us, right? And I hope you see that carry over, in season for us this year, and that'll show up on Saturday. We'll see what it looks like, but we have to tackle at a high level to be successful.
The offenses are so spread out now and all over the place, and linebackers have got to make sure that they play the run. But you need linebackers that can cover a tight end or even a wide receiver now. So you've changed your scheme a little bit. Maybe not a scheme, but you bring another free safety up to play linebacker. Explain that.
Yeah, our personnel, I think, we would put guys in the best position for them to be successful, but in this game, you have to be able to cover backside of the backfield, tight ends, and we want linebackers that are athletic. That's something we certainly look for, but they have to have blitzability and coverability, right? They have to be able to go cover, and I think we have that with our group right now. I think there's a lot of competition in that room that's going to make us really strong too. There's a lot of guys that can play winning football for us there.
Most of the quarterbacks you play against in this league can move pretty well. And you're going to see one in game one, actually.
Yeah, probably one of the better ones we'll see all season.
Yeah, I mean, talk about him a little bit and who's doing the scout team portion of trying to mimic that quarterback. And then, again, the importance of having athletic linebackers and other people to be able to chase people like that down.
Yeah, this is one of the better scramblers we'll see. He does a phenomenal job of running with the ball, when it's not there from a passing standpoint. They target people down the field really well. They have a further target mark than most people that will play. But when he does take off and run, he's fast. He's 4.4 speed. And he can really roll. So you see that across his film. One of their best explosive plays last year as a team at Portland State was the scramble. So we have to do a great job containing him and then make sure that we have a hat that's responsible for him and somebody can actually keep up with him when he does take off.
Before we let you go, we did not talk about special teams. You got a kicker coming back who had a pretty good year last year, and I see him kicking off into the end zone. I think I've seen him kick some 52, 53-yard field goals on a regular basis. Talk about your special guys.
Yeah, Cam's had a great offseason. I'm really excited about his growth. I think he's become a staple kind of in this program, and he's really grown every year. So I'm expecting a big year out of Cam, and we've had a really tough and tight punting competition too as well, but we have some good newcomers there. Luke Dunn's done a really good job coming in, and then Ross has been really consistent as well, so excited to see what that looks like. And Basso in the snapping game has proven himself to be really successful.
Yeah, we hope we never say his name.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm great with it.
The snapping, never say his name. Then he didn't do anything wrong. Yeah,
it means he did it right.
That's right every time. Well, I think I asked you this last year. As you approach game one or each week, are you a good sleeper or are you energy?
For me to be successful, I need to get some good sleep. But night before games, like the night before Christmas for me, right? So I'm not going to sleep great, and that's okay. That means we're getting close to kickoff.
Santa Claus comes Friday night. All right, late into Saturday morning.
That's right.
That's right. All right.
I'll be ready for it.
Coach, can't thank you enough for spending time with us. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks,
Coach.
Have a great weekend. And Toyota Coaches Show will continue. That's our Pepsi Coaches Interview. Joey Mac's up next with quarterback, and his name escapes me right now, but I think you saw him last year, Bo something.
He named the starter. Did you not hear him do that?
Oh, that's right. He did.
He did. Okay,
that's all next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways On Point can help support your financial well-being. On Point Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Go Ducks!
It's made, turn, don't deny me the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon.
This is Oregon football from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. I'm Joey Mac. It's the Toyota Coaches Show. Bo Nix, who is essentially a coach on the field at the quarterback position, joins us. Bo, thanks for being here, first of all.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So I don't know if you remember this, but I always ask everybody the first time they come on the air to tell their 2-minute life story. Well, you did that last year, but I feel like a lot's happened to you in the last year since you've been on the Coaches Show. So do you want to do like a 30-second life update for everybody? What's changed for you in the last 12 months?
Well, I guess I've gotten older. It's just been getting ready for football season, to be honest. Everything has been focused on that, and what's next, and how can I go out there and perform, at my best.
How was the off season different since you're coming back to the same place?
Well, it was a lot more, familiar. I think there was a lot more, things that made it comfortable. Same coaches, same players, same locker room. When you get to come back to a place like, what I had, then it makes football fun. It makes it easy. We had a great job. We had a great off season. Did a great job in the weight room with Coach Love. From top to bottom, running, conditioning, workouts. I felt like that was a lot of my off season, to be honest with you.
Well, so I was curious. At one point, you got asked about stretching during this fall camp, which I have thoughts on that coming up in a minute. But with that in mind, like, what is your workout, right? Like, take fans through a workout routine for you.
When we're in the weight room, it's a lot about, lower body strength, full body, explosion and quick twitch muscles. And then upper body is more about, keeping, long, lean muscles, not wanting to get too bulky, but at the same time you want to be big enough to withstand hits throughout the season. Mm-hmm. So it's a happy medium there. Coach Love does a great job. We feel like we did a lot of strength stuff this year. We really focused on that and how can we get stronger throughout the off season so that when the season comes you can be as explosive as possible and also be able to go through the longevity of a season. And this being the 5th one, it's tough. It's a long season, and so you really got to train hard. And then, obviously, from a quarterback perspective, I think that's kind of where the most difference is I won't train like a running back or a linebacker where they want to just be big and strong and physical and be able to hit. I want to be able to absorb hits, but not necessarily, hit people. If I'm hitting people, then we're in trouble. But, I feel like the off season's getting me ready to run the ball, throw with power, throw with quick twitch, and, that's what we did.
So what's a pregame warm-up for you?
It's full body warm up. You want to just activate, all muscles. Make sure that get ready to run. Get ready to, rotate and twist and put your body in some movements throughout warm ups that, won't shock your body once you get in the game. So that's really the main thing, is just activating everything, getting everything going, break a nice sweat, hit a top speed, and feel good, feel explosive.
You've gone through now a number of fall camps. Do they get old, or is it like, are you treasuring the final fall camp, or is there a balance there?
They get old. To be honest, this one was tough because it's like it's the fifth one. So normally, a normal guy would get 4, maybe 5, but they do get long. But at the same time, I've been through a lot of them, so therefore I know, when to get your breaks and how to rest and how to sleep, and even if you got to wake up early, how can you get, maybe a nap throughout the day? How can you stay fresh when you practice, keep your body healthy and fresh and feeling good? But fall camp, everybody's going to feel tired and sluggish, so you just got to, stay on top of everything so you can feel your best possible.
How much better are you now at time management than you were when you were a freshman, when you were 18?
I think I'm a lot better just in knowing that, I don't waste time. I think a lot of times, younger guys, maybe even, inexperienced guys, they think being up here is working on football, but you can be up here for half the amount of time, get as much done as if you were locked in and you know what you're looking at, and then you can go home and get away from it. That's one thing that I've changed probably in the last few years, is getting away from it, and leaving it here, and when I leave, just go do something else, get your mind off of it, because not only are you refreshed when you come back, but you're not overthinking things, and the easy things that happen to you, you're able to do them over and over, and they don't get monotonous.
Well, you got to teach me your ways, because I'm the worst at that.
Really?
With this job. I mean, I'm always thinking about it, So how did you do it? Tell me
I'm
your
not
secret.
necessarily not thinking about it.
Right.
But I'm just not necessarily watching it right in front of me, or not talking about it, or whatever that may be. I'm fortunate now to, Izzy and I will hang out, and she doesn't care about what's going on, X's and O's. She just cares how I'm doing. So we'll speak about it briefly. She'll know what's up, but then we'll watch something on TV, or go out to dinner, or go watch a movie, or do anything that keeps your mind off football.
Does she know when to drag you away from football?
Yeah, she does, and pretty much just all the time I'm with her, because like I said, she's just kind of oblivious to it all, but it's a good thing, because I don't want to just continue just to harp on it. And she asks about every little detail, and sometimes I tell her, look, I don't want to talk about it, and she'll be like, all right, fine, and she won't think twice about it.
Right. Continuity, you talked about that for you, but a different offensive coordinator. What's it been like working with Coach Stein?
It's been great. I've loved his ideas. He's come from some great offenses. He's really from all of his offense has been very balanced. Starts with a run game. He's going to do a lot of good things. Continue what we did last year with the running game, and then at the same time, he's very explosive in the pass game. Shots, quick game, all that kind of stuff, which similar to what we did last year. So I don't expect a whole lot of different things. We're going to do what we're good at, get the ball in players' hands, and let those guys go do what they do best, and that's win games.
For a quarterback to have your backfield returning, and a talented one, both guys on the preseason Doak Walker list, how meaningful is that for a quarterback?
Oh, it's great. Everything starts with a run game, so especially quarterback's best friend. If you ground and pound, get the ball running early, it opens up everything else, because now they're worried about stopping the run. That's the defense's main goal, is to stop the run. And then once you do that, once you get some runs in here and there, you can start opening it up and then be balanced. It's tough when you have to throw the ball, a lot to get your yards if they stop the run, but it's important to be balanced.
Break down the receivers for us. Some new faces, some great returning faces. Fans want to hear your thoughts on that receiver group.
Well, first of all, we got an explosive room. All those guys have showed flashes throughout fall camp, throughout spring. Their whole time they're on the field. We know about Troy and Chris from last year. We know they're explosive. You're really expecting, Troy to carry over what he did last year. Very solid receiver when it comes to, route running and catching the ball. But I think where Troy separates is his IQ. He's, very smart on the field. We can talk about things and go over things, go over releases, coverage structure, whatever, timing, routes. He picks it up the first time, and usually you don't have to cover it again. And Chris, his explosive playmaking ability, he's just, a runner. He just runs all day, does what he's supposed to do, makes explosive plays. And then the new guys we got, whether it be, transfers or guys who were young last year or new freshmen in here now, they've really picked up where those guys leave off. So you can expect just a whole lot of, explosiveness. You can expect a whole lot of, receptions and yards after catch. There's extremely smart room. That's one thing that they all have is experience, especially the guys transfer. They've played a lot of ball. And, expect those guys to just jump right in and do their job and play their role. And eventually you'll look up and they'll all be having great years.
For a quarterback who had so much success last year, took care of the ball so efficiently, I know that's a huge focus for this offense, was last year again this year. How do you as a quarterback not try to force it? How do you as a quarterback take all that into account?
Well, that's tough. I think preparation's key, and it's, knowing – if you know they're in quarters and you know how the wheel's going to drop, then you know how you can throw it around them. Well, if you're not prepared and you just go in it and see a dude, then you may throw it right to him or something, ball may get tipped or something, and then you got a bad play. And so preparation's key, knowing where guys are supposed to be, and then if they're not there, you can adjust from there. But I think it's just preparation and then being smart aggressive. If you got to throw, being confident and ripping the ball. But check downs are great, and we speak about check downs a lot. And it's a cliche statement, but getting Bucky and Noah, even receivers on swings, getting those guys the ball in space, that's our offense. That's what we do. That's what we want to do, is get those guys open in space, and it's like an extended run play. And so when we do that, we're going to protect the ball and efficiently move the ball.
Bo Nix, our guest. More of the Toyota Coaches Show coming up. Stick with us. Got some fun things to talk about next. Also the O-line. We'll get there. I saw some of the comments. On the way on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck, and that's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially with great rates, lower fees, nationwide ATM access, and mobile banking. Earn more interest with remarkable checking, and show your duck devotion with a duck debit card. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit. Insured by NCUA.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
Your home for Duck football.
Dump a short pass, it's intercepted. Oh, what a throw, what a catch. Pressure, steps up, goes down.
The Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Back on the Toyota Coaches Show, Joey Mac joined by quarterback Bo Nix. Bo, thanks for being with us again. I said that we wanted to talk about the O-line. Coach Lanning was talking about this, and so I saw a couple people saying, hey, we want to hear Bo's thoughts on the O-line. So I'm going to ask you this way. When you have so much success not getting sacked a season ago, some new faces on the offensive line, that's got to be a point of pride for you and for the entire offense that you didn't have a lot of sacks. Talk about turnovers, but sacks too. So what about this O-line compared to others that you've been behind?
Well,
what do they got?
At first thing you got to point out is a lot of guys left. A lot of guys are going to be playing together for the first time, but it doesn't necessarily mean these guys, haven't played college football. So it's just the meshing that's going to take time, going to take experience. But, even as we've seen through fall camp, those guys are aggressive. They're passionate about what they do. They're a close-knit group. They're smart. They're willing to learn and willing to grow. And so, to be honest with you, like their drive and their determination, passion, something you don't have to necessarily really, talk with them about. You don't have to get them going. You don't have to fire them up. They come ready to play. And you got a good O-line when they're always constantly asking you, hey, how's the pocket? How are we doing? How are we holding up? And I always tell them, you're doing fine. You're doing great. Because I don't necessarily watch it, don't necessarily pay attention to it, and I feel like they're.
But you feel it though, right?
Yeah, of course. And you know how practice goes. They get 5 feet from you and they call it a sack. But
I've seen that once or twice.
We have to constantly remind them, that when you get into live situations, it's not a sack. So it is what it is, but it's good to, practice those situations, get the ball out with timing, all that kind of stuff. And, I think the harder, the tougher it gets in practice, the closer it gets. It's just points of emphasis for us, both me and them to get the protection right, set it right, get the ball out, and then obviously they're going to do their job and hold up their end. So it's a collective group, and you can't compare them to last year because they're not last year's team. So they're going to be different in their own way. They're going to be good football players. I'm excited to watch them play and see how they develop throughout the season.
So I asked Marcus Harper this on Media Day earlier when I was talking with him, and it's kind of a routine that offensive linemen are often some of the best interviews for people like me. Why? You talk to these guys all the time. Why?
Well, I think they're – like for a guy like Marcus, he just loves TV. He loves the spotlight. He's got a huge smile, so he loves being the interviewee, but he also likes doing the interviewing.
Yeah, he did a good job.
I don't know if but he wants to be like the host of anything. Like he wants to be the personality, and that's exactly what he is, and he's going to be good at it. But those guys just love, they don't always get it, so they love the love and they love the attention. And they use it well. They do it well. And when it's their time to talk, they're going to let you know about it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's so – it sounds cliche, I know, but it's like year to year the offensive linemen are often some of the most fun guys to talk to. And I agree with you. I think
they're also smart, and they don't get to, express their opinions enough. So when they're asked, they're going to – most of them are honest, too. They'll tell you exactly what you either want to know or don't want to know. But, they're smart guys. They do a good job, and – they're all sharp and professional, and, it's fun to be around them.
I did want to ask you a little bit about your relationship with Tez. I know that's been pretty special for you to be able to play with him. How excited are you to play with him again?
Oh, I'm pumped. All year has been special, getting to practice with him again, getting to be around him, getting to live in the same city with him. I thought it was up. I thought we were, we wouldn't have this chance again, and then lo and behold, we end up at his college dream, and we end up at a special place of mine, and we're out there playing together. And so this season will be fun, regardless of what happens. And I'm just proud of him. I'm happy for him, and proud to be able to be, a part of his journey with him. Get to see him do what he loves doing, and have a blast doing it.
Talk about brotherly connection. I mean, between a quarterback and a wide receiver,
right.
That's pretty special. I did want to ask you about something else special that's beyond football. You're partnering to donate a bunch of money by the end of the year to ALS. I wanted to give you a chance to tell fans about that and where it all came from, why you're doing it.
Well, yeah, ALS is special to me. I've had, 2 close people in my family circle, either have or have family members that I've really struggled with ALS, and it's it's heartbreaking to see and to watch people go through that. Families that we love dearly, my family loves, and so it's just passionate. It's something one of those things of mine that you've seen firsthand, and you just know that, awareness and all this kind of stuff can be nothing but good and nothing but help. So that's immediately what I wanted to go to, and because it's had a personal connection with myself, and have seen it. And then it's just, I'm fortunate to be at a place like Oregon where you can get things like that accomplished, and you can get it out there, and you got fan support and team support, and I think it could spread. It could be a positive thing as the season goes on. And I'm willing to give, and that's one of my main goals. And then anybody who wants to feel led to do the same thing, we would love to have that, and because it goes beyond football, it goes beyond touchdowns, it goes beyond the final score. You're influencing people's lives and families, and a little bit goes a long way in things like this. And I'm just passionate about influencing others. And while I'm on the earth, and while I'm here with this opportunity, I just want to bless others and just be a light to people, even though sometimes we get bogged down in football, and you worry about wins, and you worry about what's going on with you, and you got to sometimes take the blinders off and see the real world out there, and see how people struggle. And anytime you can give back is really important. And so I think that with fans and with other people, and with just the exposure of it, I think it could be a really good thing, and we could get a lot of people working for our cause.
Yeah, that's awesome. So those that haven't read the news, for every touchdown that you score, there's going to be a donation, which is pretty awesome.
Yep.
Anything else fans should know?
No, I don't think so. I think it's you're talking about with the ALS.
ALS, yeah.
No, I think it's just something to really consider, and it's important to me, and so I wanted to make it a big deal.
Yeah.
And really make something special out of this year.
That's awesome.
Because it's fun. It's fun scoring touchdowns, but at the end of the day, if you can use your passions for other people, that's why we're here.
That's awesome. Bo Nix, final couple thoughts. So we got to talk to you about these billboards. Okay, so the Joey Heisman billboard poster version has been up here in the studio all the time. Don't worry, we're going to make an addition. There will be a rearranging of the wall. So rather than just ask you the same question, I don't know, do you remember exactly what you said when you got asked about it by the media last week? Well, don't worry, because we're going to play it for you. This is
fall
in
camp's
response.
been great. We've had a good time at fall camp. We've really connected over the last few weeks. We've had a lot of players step up and fill roles, and a lot of vet guys that have been doing it a long time, but they're still reliable. And with that comes great things like billboards. It's great for the university. I think it's great for the team, and we're not going to let it distract us. We're going to keep the main thing, and that's doing our best to win football games.
So I just want to go back, everyone. That was in response to a question about the billboard, and this is an ultimate team guy that said, hey, fall camp has been great. And
that was the first question they wanted to ask.
It was the first question.
I wanted to talk about football.
But well done. That's a team guy right here. So well done.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So it is pretty cool, though, isn't it?
No doubt. It's special. And, I'm just reminded when things like this happen, you got to look at the story and what it means ultimately. And, I was a person that out of high school chased my dream, went to a school that I loved. And, it didn't work out like I wanted to. That there was some disappointments. There was some, crazy heights, crazy lows. And then, you kind of get knocked down, and then you got to reevaluate what you want. You got to reevaluate the position in life. So I end up out here at Oregon. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made. There's been so much good come out of it. But, it's just part of your journey. And I think the billboard, to be honest with you, represents, each person's story and how you can go from, having bad days and having a bad year. That honestly, in grand scheme of things, it's not as bad as you may think. But it's put you down. It's knocked you down. And then, there's an opportunity that comes by, and then you get, lifted up again. And then, your story can change in an instant. And, one thing about the billboard is, part of my uniform, part of my story is the cross on my wrist that I wear, on Saturdays. And I was at the beginning kind of torn. It wasn't put up there, but then I understood that with certain things that, it wasn't part of the uniform, and there's some legal stuff, so it gives me a chance to talk about it, which is great, because I'd rather it, be talked about than just necessarily viewed, because some people won't necessarily know what it means. But, it's really important to me. It's got me where I am today, and it's just a subtle reminder that, football is going to be gone, and then you're going to have to, do something else, and you're going to have to, grow up. You're going to have to be with your family. You're going to have a job, and, at the end of the day, you really puts it into perspective, and it puts life into perspective. And, if I was sitting here 5 years ago talking about a billboard, I would think you're crazy. But it's awesome. It's awesome that, I think the positive impact that can come from it. And, to be honest with you, I love the billboard, but you could trade it for a championship right now and I'd be happy. And I don't need it. It's great, but it's great exposure for Oregon, and I'm thankful for it. And hopefully that it just turns out to be a good thing. And but at the same time, it's not going to distract us from our goals, and that's the important thing. And that's what the team knows, and we understand that. And we're just going to go to work every day.
Here's to a championship.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bo.
Appreciate it.
We could talk to Bo for hours, but hey, get back to Izzy, will you?
Yeah, I think she's putting together a puzzle right now. Okay. That's how bored she is.
Bo Nix, quarterback, everybody. Thanks for being a Duck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Timeout. When we come back, we got a uniform and actually a couple Pac-12 games tomorrow to talk about. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. And that's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially with great rates, lower fees, nationwide ATM access, and mobile banking.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
Wherever you are in life, once a duck, always a duck. And that's OCCU. Since 1956, OCCU has helped the University of Oregon community take flight financially with great rates, lower fees, nationwide ATM access, and mobile banking. Earn more interest with remarkable checking, and show your duck devotion with a duck debit card. If you're a duck, you belong at OCCU. Go Ducks. Join OCCU. Learn more at myoccu.org/getduckdebit. Insured by NCUA.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
Your home for Duck football.
Dump a short pass, it's intercepted. Oh, what a throw, what a catch. Pressure, steps up, goes down.
The Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D, that means the do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means the do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, son, how are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at soundidouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Up against the clock a little bit. Thanks to Dan Lanning and Bo Nix for joining us tonight on the Toyota Coaches Show. We'll make a couple picks on Duck Insider tomorrow. And before you know it, it's going to be football against Portland State at noon on Saturday. 10 a.m. pregame show. We'll see you at Autzen this week.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita